All information contained in this podcast is general in nature and does not consider your individual circumstances. You should consider the appropriateness of this information with regards to your individual objectives, financial situation, and needs. Welcome to Sharing More Than the Sheets, a podcast to help you and your partner make better financial and lifestyle decisions so that you can both focus on the things that you love. I'm your host, Michael Khouri, financial planner, green thumb, husband, and just dad. This week, someone asked me what we actually do as financial planners when it comes to people's retirement. And I had to come up with another Michael Khouri analogy, and here we go. I related it to packing your bags. Now, when you're going on a holiday, you pack your bags, you make sure you have the right things, you do some research, you figure out where you're going, you figure out how much it's going to cost, you ask, you find out what you can do, what your options are, anything you need to do to prepare so that you can enjoy the journey. Retirement advice from an advisor is very, very similar. So first of all, packing, going on a holiday, getting ready. When you're planning all these things, as an advisor, we help our clients plan for their retirement in that, for example, getting everything ready, whether it could be super contributions or looking at how super is invested at the moment, looking at other investments. It could be looking at any debt that they have at the moment, how money's being managed, and essentially whatever they can be doing now to optimize their situation, to pack their bags, to get everything ready, to get all their ducks in a row so that when they retire, they've got everything that they need. The second thing that we do is we help them as well work out how much they can retire on. How much per year can they potentially retire on, and how long is that money most likely going to last? Now, we do projections, which are only that, and of course there's no crystal ball. But again, planning that is similar to planning on an itinerary in a way for a holiday. If you're going overseas for a few weeks, you plan, okay, we're doing this on this day, this on this day, this on, you have an idea as to how long, as to what you can do and how long it's going to take, and you know what to expect, basically. And it's very similar when it comes to retirement. I did an episode about a year ago now called Don't Be Like Jen and Fred, I think I called it. Obviously, they're fake names, but it was a real client scenario where a couple, they retired, and essentially they got to an age where they worked out they could have retired earlier or retired on more and enjoyed life a lot more. Instead, they're old, can't really do much, and they've got all this money left over. And without proper guidance, it's very hard to plan for these things. I meet so many couples or just people in general that are too scared to retire, when within sitting down with them for 5 minutes, I work out that they can. And it's just because they never had advice. They never had anyone to sit there and teach them and help them. So they haven't even retired yet. They haven't even gone on that journey, that holiday or whatever it may be. Again, I'm using the analogy, but it literally is what people do. Of course, when they retire, they usually like to travel or do, whether it's overseas or locally, that they just like to do things. And there's a lot of value in having advice to work out if you can retire, how much can you retire on? Will you run out of money if you do it now, or if you retire on X amount, etc., etc. The other thing as well is it helps you plan for things that you might come up against. So again, packing for a holiday, you usually would do research to see, if you're traveling overseas, are there going to be storms? Is it going to be snow? What am I in for, basically? Could there be a tsunami? And it's very similar with retirement, helping people prepare for these things. So things that they could be expecting, good and bad. So will they be entitled to Centrelink? When will they be entitled to Centrelink? Is their portfolio invested appropriately? Are they exposed to too much risk? And if there is a downturn in markets, are they going to really be impacted? And is it going to hurt them emotionally and financially? What other entitlements are they entitled to? What are things that they can expect over the next 5 or 10 years as their balance reaches a particular point, whether it's caps and things that may restrict them, or maybe opportunities? There are many different things that can come up in retirement, and if as an advisor, it's our job to educate our clients on what those things could potentially be, with the warning that we don't know everything and that we can only work with what we know, of course. The other one is helping our clients prepare for retirement emotionally. So, just like, again, going on a holiday, if you've been to certain countries, you'll get advice off certain people like, oh, okay, be careful of this. Or don't drink, try not to drink the tap water. Only eat from certain restaurants. You're going to feel really tired. It's a long flight. It's really hot. You're going to feel really tired. There's lots of walking involved. There's lots of haggling, or watch out for this. And there's people prepare you, right? Your friends prepare you for things when you're going. It's the same thing with the retirement. I talk to a lot of people most people that are retiring have worked their whole lives for, decades, if not, over 50 years. And they get to a point where they are going to stop working and their life is going to change, and they sort of know what they're in for. And not that I can relate personally that, I'm not their age, of course, and I haven't been working for 50 years, but I talk to enough people to understand some of the challenges that are involved. And I prepare my clients mentally about the whole retirement thing, about the fact that, they are going to have a lot more time on their hands. And if it's a couple, they are going to be in front of each other a lot more. And I start asking questions about what's their friendship circle like, their hobbies, their health, all those types of things, because that's very, very important. A lot of retirees, no matter how much money they have, don't enjoy retirement for those reasons, because they're just not prepared emotionally, or mentally, I should say. And lastly, we help people understand their options. So again, just like you'd go to a travel agent and the travel agent gives you your options as to, okay, well, look, this is your budget. These are the countries you can visit. This is what you can do. For us, it's the same. It's giving our clients options and explaining to them, okay, well, look, you can retire at this age and on this much per year consistently for the next 20 or 30 years. You can retire on more for the first 10 years and then drop it back after that when you maybe don't want to travel anymore. We help people understand their options. We tell them if they can retire, if it's possible, and when it's possible. We tell them if they're dreaming, and if their goal of retiring at 60, for example, is not possible and they need to wait till 62 or 63 or whatever it may be. But my point is, we help people understand what their options are and the pros and cons of those options. And that's very, very powerful, because a lot of retirees, if not all of them, want to know that. They want to know, look, what are my options? What is what's probably the safest option? What are the pros and cons of option A compared to option B? And what should I be considering? And once someone knows their options and they know what they can and can't do and what they should and shouldn't do, it just opens up so many opportunities. And when I meet a person or a couple where, I tell them that I give them not the bad news, but, the reality that they do need to work a bit longer than they expected, they usually don't mind, because all they really wanted is just to know how long they still need to work for. They wanted to see that light at the end of the tunnel, to be like, okay, great, it's okay. I need to work an extra 3 years, but if I do X, Y, and Z, this is probably where I'm going to end up. And that is so powerful. I'd say that from a personal experience, talking to the clients, and even the feedback I get back from them, I get back from their children, from their partners. You can just feel it. You can see that relief. You can sense that relief as well when you're talking to someone and giving them that news. So there we are. Retiring is like going on a holiday, and there's there's different ways to pack your bags. There's different things you can pack in your bags. But as you can tell, it's very important to make sure that you're getting the right advice with the right options so that you can go on that holiday, aka retire, and enjoy the journey, be happy, and feel happy. Thanks for joining us on Sharing More Than the Sheets. Please make sure you subscribe to be updated with future episode releases, and feel free to share this episode with any friends or family that you think it might benefit. Please visit us at sharingmorethanthesheets.com.au to submit questions or requests for future podcast topics. These podcasts have been brought to you by Better Financial Planning Australia. To book a 15-minute phone chat, visit betterfinancialplanning.com.au.